This is President Trump is saying this is his economy and this surge is all him, to the Moody's chief economist, John Lonski. John, who's right?
Well, I think that perhaps in a backhanded way, Obama gets some of the credit for the 3% growth we now have because he effectively suppressed growth for so long because of his approach to regulation and his attitude towards business. You know, it's easier to grow more rapidly when you're coming off of a relatively low base.
All right, I'm not sure I understand that, but it has picked up since President Trump came in. I'm not crediting or besmirching either president. I am wondering, would the economy have surged to the degree it has? And we're talking a difference of going from roughly 2% to 3% plus growth, or the markets do what they've done. If Obama were in office now, if he were in his 9th year now, what would we be looking at?
We would still be looking at growth of roughly 2%.
Interesting.
Not anything close to 3% for some of the reasons I just mentioned. The heavy-handed approach towards regulation. The inability, I think, on Obama's part to fully understand what it takes to succeed in a capitalistic economy. I think that Obama made the mistake of not making younger Americans, these young millennials, more aware of what's necessary to succeed in a competitive economy. He appears, often to be looking for victims here, there, and everywhere, and some excuses as to why these individuals aren't doing better economically speaking.
Do you think that corporations, when they get their tax cut, whether it's 20% or 22%, and I know it's realistically not off the level of 35%, the average is more like 27% or so today, that they're going to hire people, that they're going to pay them more? They're just going to plow it back into their stocks. They're free to do whatever they want, obviously, and there's no, non-benefit from doing the latter. But what do you think?
Well, I think that, there's no reason to believe that these companies are going to take the lion's share of the increase in profits that result from tax cuts and increase wages or expand production capabilities. What's important in the tax reform package is a more favorable treatment of capital spending. And here I wouldn't be surprised to see a significant pickup by capital spending that helps to drive growth in 2018 and 2019, and that eventually this rise in capital spending will lead to more jobs. It'll lead to improved labor productivity. And as productivity grows, we should see faster wage growth.
But it's going to be hard to do that in a better than full employment situation now, won't it?
Well, we do have a low labor force participation rate. We have a low rate of capacity utilization. So I believe that this 4% unemployment rate exaggerates the extent of labor market tightness. After all, wage growth is still quite mild. We're growing wages by no more than 2.5% to 2.75% year over year, when we had 4% unemployment in the past. Because of a real tightening of the labor market, wages are growing by 3.5% to 4%.
All right. Always good talking to you, John. Thank you very much.
Same here.
John Lonski.